Hello guys, hello tigers, and welcome back to the next lesson of programming language C# from A to Z for Learning channel. This is Nazar Al-Wattar with you. Now we are going to do a quick overview to all the steps that we have covered until now about converting the C# code to the native code. So before taking a new terms and before getting to the next step, as we have said in the previous videos, at the beginning we will write a C# code. After that, we need to convert that code to the next step. So next step, we will do it by a compilation process using C# compiler. This compiler will give us the common intermediate language code. Then after that, we will use another part of the compiler to convert the common intermediate language using just-in-time compiler to the native code that operating system can understand that. Now we have reached to the execution level of this journey, and we need to run our code to get the result. As we have said, C# code is a managed code, and programming language C# consider a managed programming language. That means all the code that you are going to write it, you will run it through calling the common language runtime, which is one of the .NET framework parts, which is responsible for doing the execution and monitor the execution for your code. Before these steps, before calling the common language runtime part, we need to allocate all the resources, allocate memory, allocate any other resources that we need to support our code. Then, after allocating these resources, your code is ready, or your application is ready to be run, and you will run your code. And after your code executed, you need to release these resources that you have allocated to support your applications. In the past and in the previous versions of the .NET frameworks, this framework does not have a technique that help the resources to free up and return to the operating system. And as you as a developer, you need to free up these resources and return them back to your operating system, like memory and any other resources that you need to allocate them to support your applications. Therefore, Microsoft has solved this issue and this problem by adding a new technique to this amazing .NET framework, which is the garbage collection. So what is the reality of the garbage collections? As we have said, when you will execute or when you will run your code, you will allocate many resources like RAM, like camera, like sounds, like any other resources your applications need them to be run. And you need, in the past, I still remember in the past when we were writing some codes, we need to write constructor so as to build the object for a class, and then at the end we need to write a destructor that will destroy the objects and will free up the resources and return them back to operating system so as to reuse them. Could you imagine if you didn't write that part of the code at the end of your code and the resources still allocated to that applications, even if your application's life cycle has been ended, but the resources still allocated and didn't free up? And you can imagine if there is many applications is being run at the same time and each application will allocate some of the resources. At the end, the operating system that needs that resources to be run will not find these resources and that will get the operating system to get slower and slower. At the end, your operating system will crash because there is not enough resources to work. Then we need to free up these resources and return them back again to your operating system. Microsoft has solved this issue through adding a new technique to this amazing programming language, through adding the garbage collection technique. The garbage collection technique is a technique that is responsible for monitoring the applications. Once the application live ends, this technique will come and take all these allocated resources and free up them and return them back again to operating system so as to reuse them for him or for other applications that need these resources. This is amazing technique. This is amazing technique to help your operating system so as to be in a good environment and all resources available to its work. Now we have learned about this new technique and about the garbage collection technique. See you next lesson with next technique.